What's going on, diamonds and gents? This is Miss Trade That Jimmy. You are watching Gem Sport TV. How you doing, baby? How your mama doing? Daddy doing, baby? I'm feeling a little gangster after watching that Mob Wives episode. Yes, honey. Did y'all see how Miss Vicky came all up and through? Before I go there, let me just go ahead and say this is season 5, episode 4. Quick recap. Well, I don't know how quick it's gonna be, but we're gonna try our best. All right, so let's get on into it. Okay, so if you have not seen this glittery makeup look, yes, giving you all types of New Year life, make sure to check in the description bar or click right up in here now. Okay, so let's get on into it. Did y'all see how Miss Vicky came all up and through there like a true boss, baby? Yes, God, honey. She came in there with a black suit, baby, with them heels on, and she sat down and she handled things. And all I got to say is kudos to you, baby, because you did something a whole lot of people ain't been able to do, as that is get them sisters in order and together. First off, let's get started with the fact that it ended on the note of Renee and Angie sitting down and Vicky coming in. And from the way Renee was kind of like feeling on edge, everybody was like, you know, in suspense, like, okay, do she got an issue with the Gotti? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? She got an issue with Miss Vicky? What's going on? But come to find out, you know, through the process, Renee and her loyalty to Karen, I guess, you know, Gotti's and the Gravanos, I think that's her last name, kind of had a beef. Karen's father, you know, Sammy the Bull, you know what I'm saying, decided to cooperate. You know what I'm talking about? And he ended up going to jail, but he decided to cooperate with peoples and everything. And so, you know, they feel a particular kind of way about him. They, you know, they feel like he a rat. And, you know, they don't like rats. You know, from this episode, we're going to gather that they can't stand the rats. Okay, so let's move on in. So Renee was kind of like upset with Angie because she like, hold on, you ain't even come holler at me. You took the word of basically a chick I brought in. You know what I'm talking about? An outsider, but I brought her through. You know what I'm talking about? You took her word over mine. And I feel a particular kind of way about that, because loyalty is everything. And you got to understand, these people got background of family members and things of that nature being gangsters. You know what I'm talking about? And even though they're the women and they're not the gangsters, but they're around gangsters, so they handle things accordingly and as such. So loyalty means a lot to them, especially when, you know, like I said, certain family members of theirs have turned out to be rats. Like Renee's husband, he a rat. You know what I'm talking about? Karen's father, he had to do what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Drita, basically, she don't even have a tolerance for it, you know. So, anywho, so she telling her side of the story, and Vicky, you know, being a boss, understand, like, hold on. So basically, this sound like this is this new chick coming in, and you kind of like letting her bring a wedge in, Angie, and you got to understand where she coming from. Loyalty is everything. If you've been knowing her 20-something years, you ain't had any problems with her in them 20 years, well, all of a sudden it's a problem now. You need to holler at her. But I'm thinking that, honestly, I think that Angie is getting to a point where, you know, in her age group, you know, you get to a point you fed up. Basically, she done took stuff for years and then smiled and been drunk and, you know, having a good time. And it seemed like she about to blow her gasket come the next episode. Because it's like, hold on. You know, I've been nice Angie. Long time. I've been nice Angelica. You understand me? I've been real nice. And now all of a sudden y'all taking my kindness for a weakness. It's time to brawl, baby. I'm ready. Don't y'all let it get it twisted. Big Ange know how to throw the guns just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm jumping the gun. But you know, I can't wait to see this episode because I can't believe Big Ange. You ain't supposed to let him bring you too much out your character. But you got to understand. You know what I'm talking about? She got a young husband going through menopause. She don't feel like, you know what I'm talking about, she can provide sexual intercourse, and she don't even care at this point if he step out the marriage. You know, it's just a whole lot going on in Angela's world. Her husband wants a child and everything. She just had a grandbaby with her son on Alcatraz. You know, she got the whole lot of wherever he had. She got a whole lot going on right now. And so to have what you think is your friends is supposed to be your backbone holding you down, it seemed like, you know, she about to blow a gasket, needless to say. So, and you could tell from her facial expression, she was feeling a particular kind of way because it seemed like Miss Vicky had understood Renee's side better. You know what I'm saying? She understood, you know, you just let an outsider come in and mess with our happy home. Pretty much. And she a young tender that blurry our goon. She don't really know about how the goon code in the squad and how we get on with one another. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? So she bury him. She don't really know what it takes to be a true goon. So you got to understand she young tender and she don't know what it is, how it is, and all that good stuff. So basically what transpires is they hug it out. Vicky like, well, okay, now that I'm through with y'all stuff, let me go be a boss. Rick Ross be the boss. Anyway, so she leaves. Renee instantly calls Karen. Okay, and they sit down and Karen let her know, I'm glad, you know, she squashed things. Yes, the governor and the guy, he's got some things going on, but don't ever let that affect what you're doing. I'm not her that'll tell you not to be friends with somebody because of family stuff. But she was like, I respect Victoria. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no issues with her. You know, she might have, you know, I don't know, we daughters, you know, we came up in this because of our fathers being in this. Our fathers basically was the ones that brought the mob life to the mainstream. So really, for real, serious, you know, we can't really be too mad. You know what I'm saying? So they talk about that. So fast forward. I'm talking about what stuck out to me first. Y'all know how I do it. I gotta go straight to the actual makeup studio. Okay, where she, not the makeup studio, but the actual place where she did the, Drita did makeup for Italian magazine. When Drita was there, she met a young lady named Natalie. Like, of course, Natalie from Philly. Natalie from Philly was telling her about her friend that Natalie called the cops on. Basically, she dated this dude. He pissed Natalie off, some transpired, and she called the peoples on my dude. You know, she called his parole officer like, come get this son of a gun. He violated parole. So in their lifestyle, that's a rat. You don't call the police. You handle it like a G. You know what I'm talking about? Bust his windows, dry your car up in his house, you know, do everything, anything, but call the po-po. Don't call the po-po. Okay? So basically, Drita like, oh, I'm trying to be professional, but I want to stop doing her makeup and roll up to Philly and grab this broad and scratch her across the asphalt. Now, let me just go ahead and say, Drita, this small girl, she gangsta as they come. The smallest one in the group, it will come right for your head. I love it, love it, love it. So she like, man, I want a piece of her because she making me look like a jerk off, is in their words. You know, she make me look like scrub, in my words. You know what I'm saying? You make me look like a fool. I vouched for you, and the fact that I vouched for you mean a whole lot to me because I don't vouch for everybody. And Drita like me, I don't vouch for everybody. And when I vouch for you, and you basically turn around and lie to me and slap me in my face, I got an issue with you. So Drita like, man, I vouched for her. I don't want it to get out that, you know what I'm saying, she actually a rat with, you know, them finding out from somebody else. I want them to hear from the horse's mouth. I want them to hear it from me. So Drita calls the girls in, you know what I'm saying, and let it be known. And so Karen was like, well, I'm not going to be. Drita was telling the story, and you know Renee, she like, yep, I told y'all, yep, I told you. First of all, Renee, I love you to pieces, honey. Yes, I do. But do not allow her to bring you from the boss status that you get. Clothing line, stylists, you be working with all types of rappers, singers, everything. Don't let her take you from your boss status to being petty. That was real petty. Let me just go ahead and say you were being very petty, okay? And because of that, I feel a particular kind of way. Let me just go ahead and say I feel a particular kind of way about you when it came to that, because you don't have to be petty. And she didn't even have to come tell you nothing. Let me just go ahead and say it. She could have just handled it like she wanted to handle it and not even holler at your girl. But she decided to come to you and tell you, you know what I'm saying? You right. And sometimes it's sad to say, and I've been there and I don't understand it either, how you can know somebody for 8, 9, 10, 20, 30 years and they telling you in your face, this is a snake you dealing with, okay? I'm not gonna mention no names, but I done dealt with some snake type situations, okay? People that I thought was down for me and my husband and have turned around and told us one thing and then go and tell another person another thing for status, for positioning. And I done been there, okay? First of all, and I'm woman enough, and I'm humbled enough. If I look up to you and I call you a mentor, I call you a father, I call you a mother, sister, whatever, and you call me, not talk about me behind my back, but call me and you say, listen, somebody came to me saying that you had an issue with, you know, maybe this or that another. And I feel a particular kind of way about that, because if I'm your mentor, sister, brother, spiritual mother, father, whatever I am to you, you could have, you know, came to me and talked to me about that. We talk about everything else. When you had an issue with this over here, or you thought something was wrong and I told you what my perception of it was, and you told me, no, this is what was told to me. And then, you know what I mean? You can come and holler at me and for to snake me. Woo! And I'm telling you, once you snake me, it's a wrap. Don't ever, ever, ever think that people, just how you talking about people, and you don't know how close people are with folk. Let me just go ahead and say that too. You know, Renee, you just really don't know how close people are to other people. And they were developing a bond with Natalie, and they had to see the snake in the grass themselves. You know what I'm saying? But then you gotta trust. People call it karma. Some people do unto others as you reap seed, sow seed. You know what I'm saying? Reap what you sow, all that. You know, people, it always come back around. Trust me, it always come back around. I'm a living witness of that, okay? It always come back around. Let me just go ahead and say that again. It always come back around. When you do somebody bogus, and the one that always kiss you like Judas and stab you in the back, let me just go ahead and say it's always a story, and it's always two sides to everything. Because the very person that you listening to was trying to talk us into leaving or not even trusting you. Baby, don't get me started, because this is my story, and I feel you on that, Renee. When loyalty is everything to me. This one, I will not let you talk about my friend to me. One thing, I will never let that happen. I will never let an outsider talk about my friend to me, or talk about my mama, my daddy, or anybody I call father, mother, mentor, whatever that I love. You cannot come to me and talk about somebody, because the one thing I'm going to do is I'm always going to be like, let me tell you something. You know I'm telling them. And I'm telling you, I done been there, okay? And that's my reality. I don't do that. Whatever I say out my mouth, I'm warm enough to repeat, especially if it's about you. Because I feel like this here. If you knock me out, it ain't like I can't get back up. And don't get it twisted. I just look like this. How you doing? Because, baby, let me just go ahead and say, I gets down with the best of them, too. So let's not go there. So it will never get to that for me. But if it do, I can handle my own. So don't ever think that you got one side to a story and it's all it is. And that's to Drita, that's to Angie, and that's to all y'all. Don't ever think because you get one side to a story, that's all it is. Y'all should have sat down with your girl Renee and y'all should have hashed that out, because that's just what it is. Because let me just go ahead and say, while you thinking it's only one side to a story, let me just tell you something. It's two sides to the story and the truth. And I'm always her that gives the truth. Why? Because I fear no man. When you become free, you fear nobody. And I don't fear no man. I don't have time to be walking around fearing nobody. I don't care how big, short, little, tall you is, how many guns you got, what you could do, whatever. I am free. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So whatever I got to say, I say it again. And whatever you say, you just better be knowing that just like you snaked me, I know the truth. I'm easy, bitch Trey. Say breathe. Easy, bitch Trey. But I'm just serious about that. I have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? I have a big issue with that. That backbiting, I have an issue with that. I don't say nothing that I'm not willing to repeat. And if people take what I say a wrong way, I can clear it up. I can do that. However, the cookie may crumble. I can clear it up. But let's not get it twisted. I am loyal at all costs, even when you're not loyal. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I think that that's where Renee was going with it. And I feel you, Renee, on that. You was going there with that. You like, listen, I told you this was a snake. You going to have to see it for yourself. And sometimes it take an outsider saying, listen, remember what he did and said to you about them? You realize he came to me saying X, Y, and Z and about you. And saying that he was going to do X, Y, and Z about you. And then you wind up looking like the fool because you realize that you believe the snake. And that's just the reality. And so that has become the reality. So, moving on. Whew, breathe easy, Trey. Woosah. Tell me the woosah, y'all. Because I feel a particular kind of way. But I feel Renee and Karen on that. You don't let nobody come from the outside of y'all relationship and tell you X, Y, and Z, and you know it's really A, B, C, D, and E. And I feel her on that because I done been there. I done been there, okay? So, now Drita want to see Natalie. She like, listen up. Natalie, you don't want to see me. You know what I'm talking about? Moving fast forward. So, here we go. We got Storm. Storm that got caught red-handed, bruh. You got caught red-handed, bruh. Pretty much. And Angie, I love her because she said, baby, it's no way I woke up and some bro was in my house and I not push her down the stairs. I mean, I just need to know how she got at your grips. What happened? Storm saying she shouldn't have asked her nothing in my house. Storm, baby, you know better. You know better. You know better. Let me just go ahead and say, you know better. You a brother. You know better, okay? Don't get it twisted. Italian women, y'all gets down like we do. I know, because I got a couple of friends that'll get, all I got to do is call and they, girl, what? What you do? What it do, boo? That's why I love me some Drita, okay? So let me just go ahead and say it. They gets down like the best of them too. So let's not get it twisted. You knew what you was with, my dude. You knew what you was with. And that's what bothers me about you, Storm. You act like you didn't know. You knew who you had on your team and you knew who you was with. And because you act like you didn't know who you was with, she showed you. And my girl, stick to your guns. Take Renee and Big Edge advice. Stick to your guns, Karen. That boy got caught, pretty much. Because the first thing came out of his mouth was, and I quote, I thought you was supposed to be at work. Not babe. If he wasn't on nothing, he'd be like, babe, oh boy, girl came in and used bathroom. She about to leave out. He out in the car waiting on his girl. Nobody was waiting on this chick. It supposed to be your boy's girl. Where's your boy at? Right. Enough said. Don't even have to keep talking about that. Karen, handle your business accordingly and as such. And that's all I got to say about that. Natalie in London seems to be trying to work things out. Whew, I am so glad she is calmer because I was beginning not to like her. I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna leave on this note, and whatever I left out that didn't stick out to me but stuck out to y'all, y'all know I love to dialogue with y'all. I want y'all to comment down below and let me know what stuck out to you, what I left out, all that good stuff. Now, let me just go ahead and say, the reason to why I do not care for RATalie is because she's a pretty woman, very beautiful girl. I don't care for RATalie because RATalie do not know how to talk to a man. Not just a regular man out on the street. But this is a man that you care for enough to move in with. To bring your child around. To say that eventually I'll be with you in the long run business with you, X, Y, and Z. I don't know if you want to marry the man, but it looks like wedding bells are in your future. Okay? Let me just go ahead and say, I do not by no means respect a woman that talked to her man the way that RATalie has done her man. And that's the reality. And not just once, but several times. And that is a big problem for me. Let me just go ahead and say it. I can't sugarcoat it. Can't make it sound like nothing else. That's why I particularly don't care for her. And then the next thing is she pops off at the lips, at the jib jaws, and then you a liar with it. Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You say you didn't call the cops. Why would Karen lie about that? I just believe a girl. Karen is a girl. I believe Karen. You know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, because you done called the peoples before, you're going to be known as a cop caller. And because you judging people for their family members being a rat, how about you one? Let me just go ahead and say it. So that's why I don't particularly care for her. But this particular episode, she was cool. She was laid back. She wasn't doing too much. You know what I'm saying? She was, you know, she was cool with it. So I can respect her more for this episode. But the upcoming episode, she gonna be, I already can tell, she gonna be back in the diamond bucket. Where she becoming a diamond in the rough again. She ain't nothing but a rock. And we got to shimmer and shine and cut on up good. Okay? So, that was my recap of my diamonds that have made it this far. I just want to thank you so much and appreciate you for watching. Always supporting the channel and all that good stuff. I thank you. Coming up. Okay, so diamonds, you are the toughest material on the earth, ladies, and there's none like you. Gents, you no longer boys when you watch this channel. And to all my darlings, appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. Have joy, love, and be empowered in 2015. You be blessed.